We're in the garden today. It's so peaceful out here right now. The sun kind of went away. It was out for a little bit, but we're gonna go through the garden. It's early June and this is what the garden looks like. So we're gonna start in the first bed here. We have red onions that are lining the edge, and there's a couple of marigolds sprinkled in. The marigolds here and there. There's a few along the back and the front edge. They add some color right now until we get some tomatoes on here. These first two tomato plants are pineapple tomatoes, and I don't have any growing on them yet. There are a couple of flowers right. There's one, two, there's a couple around here. And then these other six, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are all Roma tomatoes, and these are actually looking really pretty here. There's two biggest ones. Kind of look at them here. They look really pretty. And then some of our onions actually look really good. These guys, they're getting pretty big under there. We did just weed eat around the garden beds, and some of that grass is in here still, so that's why there's a little bit of mess around. And then if we can see them in here, there we go. There's 4 little tomatoes in there. These are Roma tomatoes. And then there's some more marigolds. These ones are actually the biggest ones, I think. Maybe the ones that are right there would be big too, but these ones are the biggest. And then this is probably the biggest tomato plant we have in this bed. We have another one in a bucket that's really big, but this one looks really pretty. I don't know if there's any tomatoes on him. Let's see here. I'm not seeing any, but that doesn't mean they're not here. Oh, there's one. Right there. Oh, there's 2 in there. 2 in there. And then we have zucchini plants. Now these 2 are the same. They're both gray zucchini. And then that one is a round zucchini. I might have grown this one a couple of years ago. I can't remember what variety I had then. And then that one I've never grown before. The round one. I can put a picture of what they're supposed to look like. But they're supposed to be little, maybe like baseball size, and I feel like they're gonna be really cute. Along the back edge, we have lemonade cosmos, and the picture looks really pretty. And they're coming up pretty well. There's a couple little sprouts there. And then we have the pepper bed. There are 18 peppers in here because I accidentally bought 18. There was a sale. If you fill a flat, it's cheaper. And I had more space, so I kept adding it until we got home and realized that there was 18 in here. So there's sets of 3, and each set of 3 is a different variety. So these 3 are red bell peppers. Then we have orange, and these, I would say these 3 here, different varieties, aren't doing the best, but I just added some fertilizer today, so hopefully they'll get better. And then we have yellow bell peppers. We have sweet banana peppers are these 3, and then sweet jalapeno peppers and hot jalapeno peppers. And now the sweet ones look so pretty. There's so many on them here. There's 2 little guys there. There's a couple little baby ones up on the top as well. And then we've got a few hot jalapenos here. There's one there. I don't think you can see it, but there's a couple back there in that one. This little guy, that's a sweet jalapeno. And then we come over here, right next to all the peppers, we have candy onions. And these are actually doing great. I mean, look at that. It's so pretty. They're getting really big. This is the only place in the garden that I don't have this landscape fabric. We stapled down the edges, and it's been really nice. I haven't wanted to look under it to see how many leaves are actually under it, because there are a few places around where they'll pop up right at the base. I did go through and weed this one a few days ago, but let's see, like this guy right here. There's a lot of grass growing around the base of that, up through. I should come through and pull them out. I just haven't done that yet. And I went through and I weeded all of this. And then next to it, we have kohlrabi. I have not tried to grow this before, but I have 3 friends that love it. So we're gonna try growing that this year. I have these 4 look okay. I mean, they're really not doing great. There's some yellowing, there's some marks on the leaves, but they're doing okay. And then there's 4 more here, not doing as well, but they'll be all right. And then if we come back here, I actually just changed this one. So I had one of these A-frame trellises coming over here, and I had watermelons. I only had 4 holes here, and I had watermelons in all of them. This one, I think it's died. It isn't very happy. I'm not sure what's wrong with him. I was going to give up, but then I thought, let's keep trying. I'll just take the trellis out for now. And then this guy, he doesn't look terrible. It also doesn't look very good. And so I replanted some beans. There's a bean coming up right here. You can see it right there. I saw another one over here earlier, but we blew some grass clippings in, so I'm not really sure. I think there's another one in that hole right there. I saw one, I thought in there, but I don't see it now. There might be one in that back corner. It's 3 different varieties. So we have Blue Lake bush beans, Jade bush beans, and then we have Lima beans, also a bush bean. And then I have on the edge here, along the edge, you can't really quite tell. You can see with these ones though. They are zinnias. These are candy cane zinnias. And then I've got some sunflower mix here in these little spots because I really wanted sunflowers and I thought we're just gonna put them somewhere in the garden. And then we have this A-frame trellis here, and it has sugar snap peas on it. There's probably, I think there's 4 on this side and there's 5 on that side. And this side is doing significantly better than the other one. And it's growing pretty tall. There's a couple of peas on it too. If we come in close, there's one right here. This little guy. Really close. I found another one earlier. It's pretty cute too. And there's some flowers on here. There's a bunch of flowers on here too, so we're going to get more. And then I put 2 of the A-frame trellises here, and we're going to try pumpkins. I have a couple more red onions around the edge there, but there's 2 holes here. These 2 have weeby little pumpkins in them, but I did just find this today. This is a sugar pumpkin, and it just sprouted, and there's another one back there in that hole. So the goal is that they'll grow up these trellises. I don't know if it's gonna work. They might just go out onto the grass, which is fine. That doesn't bother me. The full view of the garden. Now we are over in the bucket garden, and this is a pink girl tomato, and it's really big. It's probably the biggest tomato that we have here, and it actually was in a 4-inch pot, and it was about 18 inches tall when we bought it, and I really wasn't sure if it was too big for the pot or if it was going to be okay, and it seems to be doing great. It has 3 little tomatoes on it and still more blossoms, and it's huge and it's doing great. We have 4 buckets down here on the bottom that are red potatoes, and 3 out of the 4 of them have these beautiful flowers on them. So we're getting close to harvesting on these. And then we have 1 bucket that has chives in it. There's 3 little garlic chives around the edges here, and then they weren't growing very quickly, so I got another, just a regular chive plant. And then this bucket next to it is butter lettuce. And the one between that and the tomato is romaine lettuce. And I just planted these recently, so they haven't quite grown yet. But now we are over at the green stalk, and this actually, it has 6 tiers, but there's only 5 stacked up because they're a little bit wobbly if I put the top one on. So there's oregano in this first pocket, and then we have cilantro, which somehow is still doing okay in all of the heat. And then there are 2 pockets of basil, and none of this has really grown super well yet, but there's still time. We're going to be patient with it. And then there's another cilantro. It's directly across from the other one. And then we have bunching onions here in this pocket. I've got 2 spinach plants, but they've both gone to seed. I just need to take them out and figure out what to put in them in these pockets. Then we have another basil, and it looks beautiful. It actually looks like it's growing better than the top ones. And then another cilantro. And we have 2 more pockets. These are the garlic chives that were in that bucket in the last location. And this one is hardly growing at all since I planted it, but it did get rained on really bad from a storm, so that might be why, because the one next to it is looking fine. Down on the next layer, we have, it alternates lima beans and romaine lettuce, so every other pocket is lima beans, and then the ones in between that are lettuce. And they're looking all right. It's been probably a month maybe since I planted them, maybe not quite a month, and they're okay. They're still growing. They're just growing slowly. The lettuce is looking much better than it was. It was not growing for quite a while. And then the next layer we have 3 in a row. There's jade beans. And behind all of these beans in this layer, I planted carrots. Just experiment and see if it would work. So there's 2 bean plants in most of these pockets. Some of them didn't germinate, but there is carrots behind each of these. So the first 3 are jade green beans, and then the next 3 pockets are Blue Lake bush beans. And some of the leaves on these have started to die, so I'm just pulling them off here. In the bottom layer, there are 3 kohlrabi plants, and these are probably the best ones that I have. They look really good. They look a lot better than the ones in those garden beds we saw earlier. They all have beautiful green leaves on them. There's no bug damage yet. There's maybe a couple of the bottom leaves are dying, but I feel like that's to be expected. So there's 3 kohlrabi, and then there's 3 dwarf pea plants. And I don't know, I haven't grown peas before, so I'm not sure. I need to look it up if they're actually supposed to die like this as soon as the peas are ready, because they just completely died in a matter of about 3 days. So this is the top layer of the green stalk, not stacked on top, and there are 3 little spots of butter lettuce, and then there's 4 candy onions in it. There's a planter next to the green stalk here, and it's got candy onions in one end, and these ones are looking really good. They're growing nicely. And then next to that, I have pepper plants. These are just an experiment, the peppers and the tomatoes here, to see if they would grow from direct sowing them. I did that at the end of April, and they're actually looking really good. This tomato plant, it's a dwarf tomato, so it's not supposed to get very big, but it looks really healthy. And then the sweet pepper plant next to it, it's looking really good. So in this bucket we have chives from last year that I just transplanted into this bucket because we moved and they needed to go somewhere, and I put carrots next to it. And then I have this bucket that is Blue Lake pole beans because I wanted to see if they would climb the railing, and we put them next to the railing, and then the little runners that are trying to climb, we directed them to the railing, and they've actually climbed up it, and it's doing pretty good. This is a pineapple tomato. It's the same as the ones in the garden bed. It just was too small to put there. Then we have cabbage and 1 surviving garlic from an experiment I did. I planted it too late in the winter. And then we have another round zucchini. It looks like it's kind of dying, but I'm going to try and bring it back to life. And then we have a black zucchini here. I just planted this one a couple of days ago, so it's still small. This is our tower. Well, it's a flower tower. There are poppies on top, and then snapdragons, and then bachelor button flowers on the bottom. And none of them have bloomed yet, but they're getting bigger. This little pot has impatiens around the edge. In the middle, there's 1 Rebecca plant. This is one of the 2 snapdragon buckets I have. It has pink and yellow in it, but the yellow ones aren't blooming at the moment. And then this one has red and yellow in it. Alright, that's everything in my garden this year as of June 2024. Thank you so much for coming along with me today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.